Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Fabio Tenorio. Today, we're going to have a webinar with the topic of artificial intelligence and commercial real estate. Welcome, everybody. The Latino Chamber of Commerce is is so glad that you guys are meeting today and joining this webinar. This is an extremely interesting topic, and we have our friend Luis Olvera providing the information this morning. So to start, I just want to quickly introduce Luis because I know that he's got a lot of material today and I don't want to take too much time. So Luis Olvera has over 18 years of experience in international business, contracts, regulations, and negotiations. He is a Minnesota residential and commercial real estate agent, and he's been active for over 15 years. He is a past director of membership at the National Hispanic Real Estate Professionals and the Twin Cities chapter. And well, there's so many other things that he's done. And I think all of you are a little familiar of his background from previous webinars. And I will let Luis continue with the webinar so we can cover all the materials here. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat button at the bottom of your screen, so you can type any questions, and Luis will address those, during the presentation or maybe at the end. So Luis Olvera, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Fabio. As always, it's a pleasure and honor to be able to give another presentation, another webinar between the Latino Chamber and my broker, which is the North Star Real Estate Associates. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about AI commercial real estate, the applications, and how it's transforming the industry. But before entering into the topic, what I was thinking to do, and I was commenting to Fabio, and we kind of agree, is to develop or show you guys and girls a very, very clear definition and understanding of what really is AI, in which stage of AI we are, and the future applications, which are unbelievable exciting. So without further ado, let's start diving in. And as I commented, we're going to start from the broad concept of AI. We're going to go deep, very deep. And then we're going to approach the applications in commercial real estate. And along the descriptions, we are going to give, of course, as always, a variety of examples. Okay, so this is a very condensed index of what we are going to talk today about: definition, origins, context in commercial real estate, the overview, and of course the benefits of adoption AI in commercial real estate. So in layman terms, of a very familiar terms, what is AI? Well, AI is a set of technologies. Many technologies come together to enable computers to perform very different functions. For instance, we can extract information, we can summarize. ChatGPT, please summarize this document. Please analyze. They see, they reason. We're talking about the computers. They will learn, which is a very interesting topic to talk about. They create documents, they create graphs, images, etc. And of course, translate a written language. There are more than 350 languages, and they can be translated instantaneously in AI. Also, and this is very important for our careers, make recommendations, and believe me, it's infinitive universe that AI can do. The most important thing to take into consideration about AI is that it involves massive, and I'm talking massive amounts of data. I was reading in preparation to this presentation that today the data that the computers, Amazon and Google especially, and Microsoft are analyzing is in the zeta tetrabytes, which is 1 million terabytes. So if you know about what is a terabyte, imagine 1 million of those guys. A terabyte is 1 million bytes. So it's an unbelievable amount of data that the computers run through in order to give you a recommendation or give you a reason or a new graph or a prediction, okay? AI today is disrupting any industry that you can think about, from biology, chemistry, environmental science. Forget about fusion and things like that. We're talking about a different universe of environmental science applications. Physics, they are discovering new ways to treat physics, of course, mathematics, business, needless to say, and our industry, which is commercial real estate. Any and all industries that you can think about, AI today is present. And of course, the most familiar to us that we are not a PhD in MIT for AI is what we do in Netflix, in Amazon, YouTube, Google search, and all of those are powered by machine learning, and we will see how the machines or the computers do the job. What it does, again, in a different approach, excuse me, is to simulate human intelligence to solve problems, okay? We are going to see how the human intelligence performs to solve problems so we can understand how AI does in order to do the same. It develops systems. It works with all types of data. That's very important to get into consideration. It can be voice, text, it can be structured information, unstructured information, can be music, can be anything that is possible to feed a computer in a chatbot. We are going to see what's a chatbot. Then the computer will, via the programs, there is going to process that information and is going to give you a result. The systems uses logic and decision trees to learn, reason, and actually nowadays they self-correct themselves. We're going to see that as well. I'm going to give you just three very, very simple examples of what this AI can do. Johnson & Johnson, you know, everybody is a health company that produces medicines, among other things. In order to launch a medicine, a new medicine, they have to analyze compounds and how the compounds react to each other. Before AI, they used to do about 100 to 150,000 compounds. They will take 1 month to analyze them and therefore produce the results. With the computers, before AI, they will be able to analyze 500 to 1 million compounds, but it took 1 month to do that. Today, they can analyze 1,500,000 in 3 days. So that is how fast AI is advancing. And in the interview with the CEO, he was saying, you know, in a couple of months, even before the next year, we're going to be able to analyze 2 million in a day. So imagine the difference that AI is making just in this proof of concept for launching a medicine. Imagine the universe that is in front of us. Walmart, another very interesting example. Because of the tariffs, and I don't want to go there, but Walmart announced that they were going to increase prices. Walmart has, just to give you an idea, the size of Walmart has 2.5 million employees. So they have more than 1 billion products around the world, obviously. So imagine how would it take to update all the prices of all the products around the world. It was about 825 million changes that Walmart had to do. So if we didn't have AI, it would take years to do that manually. But thanks to AI, guess how much or how long it took to Walmart? It took a week to update 825 million products prices. Another application that is also very interesting is in the prediction of line fraud transactions. When you swipe your card, you about in 1 minute or tops 2 minutes, you will receive a message via telephone or in your laptop computer saying, is this a transaction that you made? If not, say stop or fraud. Well, that, guess what? That is AI. Because imagine how many transactions Visa and MasterCard are doing per second. We're talking about in the millions per second worldwide. So thanks to AI, they can do that in a minute to advise you whether it's fraud or you did the transaction. So that is how the AI applications are today. So imagine in 2 years how it's going to be. You remember the decision trees that we talk about here, decision trees? Well, I'm going to give you 2 examples, and they are very, 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 very simple examples. One is to buy a car, and the other one is to determine if a person is fit. And this is a very simplistic model in order for us to understand how decision trees work, because this is the basis, as I commented before, of how AI works. It's a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, but in terms of billions and trillions of data in order to arrive to the result. Here we just have one decision to make, to buy a car or to decide if the person is fit. If the car color is blue, we have yes or no, very simple. If it's a yes, then we go to the model. Let's go to the left side only. If the model is greater or newer than 2015, it's very simple, yes or no. If it is yes, we buy. If it is no, then we have another variable, which means the mileage. If it is less than 50,000 kilometers or 30,000 miles, simple again, is a yes or no. So if it is yes, 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 then we buy. Very interesting here that in this situation, we have a no here, which is the model, and then yes to be able to decide. So it doesn't have to be yes, 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 yes. It can be yes, no, yes, in order to arrive to the result. That is very interesting, and that is how the computers work according to the prompts that we give to them. Then, of course, we're going for the color. If it is red, we go for a Ferrari. If it's a Ferrari, we buy a Ferrari. For the example, if the person is fit, if the person is 30 or more, and if it eats pizzas, then we can determine very easy if the person is less than 30 and eats a lot of pizzas, is unfit. If it does not eat a lot of pizzas, then the person is fit. Again, this is a very, very simple 2 examples, but that will give us a very clear idea of how the computer works to arrive to results in AI. AI, and we're going to go deeper and deeper, has 6 branches, okay? One is the machine learning, which is the Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, Google search that we already are using. When you go to Netflix, for instance, and you want to watch a movie, what Netflix goes to you to says to you, these are our recommendations. Because you watch Equalizer 3, we are recommending you to watch X, Y, or Z. We know that you will love this movie. Well, that is exactly machine learning. The machine or computer has been learning which programs you have been watching, and because of that, in this case Netflix, will be predicting what you might do the next step. The Amazon the same. If you buy shoes, certain type, certain brand, certain color, believe me, they are going to recommend you the same. The same with YouTube. You start to surf in YouTube, it's going to appear clips according to your tastes and preferences. Okay? Deep learning is another specialization that uses neural networks. We are going to know neural networks today. And allow me to make a very short parenthesis. After this hour of webinar, you are going to learn more than 97% of people in the street that just have heard about AI. You're going to be able to talk about neural networks, the 6 branches of AI, how the machine works, the chatbot, etc., etc. You will see. Believe me, it's very, very interesting what we're going to see today. Another branch or subset is the natural language process. This allows the computer to interpret our language. We are very, very familiar with Siri and Alexa. However, these two applications have their limitations. Try to ask the second one, because I have this in my house, if she has feelings, or she has urges, or she wants to go to the bathroom, things like that. There are limitations for this application. Expert system is the ones that use the expert ability to make decisions. I was in preparation to this webinar using Google search box. Man, it's really unbelievable how they were recommending me, and the computer and the application was making decisions for me to put this or that transparency into the presentation. Another very big branch is robotics. Needless to say, what is a robot? And the most interesting one is Sophia. We're going to talk a little bit about her. And obviously the speech recognition, which is when you talk to a computer and the computer gives you an action. This is Sophia. Sophia is the only robot in the world that is a citizen of Saudi Arabia. It was granted citizenship of this country, and she is dedicated today to give plenty of conferences, webinars, etc., around the world. It's a very famous robot. How does it work? Well, as we have explained, many organizations use it, and it's an automatic and repetitive, is used to do automatic and repetitive processes that helps to give us decisions. The core principle, and we have talked and we're going to talk over and over again, is around data, vast amounts of data, terabytes, etc. And the computer go through that and will give you results. This is not possible to do in a human plane because we have, of course, a very big limitation, which is our brain. The algorithms is the rules and instructions that we're going to give the computer for it to perform the analysis, give us decisions, or give us an output. And for instance, today, the data sets which is, for instance, GPT, GP4, are using trillions of data sets in order for it to spit a result. And of course, a very big branch of the AI is the generative AI. This is models that will use text and will give you more and more results every time. Okay. This is going deeper. We're going to see how the brain works and how the AI works. This is a computer image made by AI. By the way, all my images are made by AI. Well, some of them. And this is the brain according to computer. This is the brain in real terms. This is how the anatomy of our neural network works. We have an input. For instance, I'm going to say a word that goes to the dendrites. The dendrites transfer to the axons that idea or that concept, and then the output is going to be made through the connections of the dendrite or the neuron that will find the meaning of what I'm looking for. This is very important to understand how we work inside our brain. And this is the explanation. We have about 100 billion neurons, 100 billion of these guys, okay? Each of them measures less than the thickness of a one hair, just to give you an idea how big these guys are. And they communicate to each other. Why? Because they are connected through the dendrites and through the output, which are the axons, okay? And this happens, the connections, through electricity. Very interesting piece of information is that the electricity travels about 100 miles per second. So imagine if the neuron is less than the thickness of a hair and the electricity travels at 100 miles per second, imagine how fast we process information inside our brain. We can, for instance, the normal conversation talk that I'm saying right now or doing right now is in the neighborhood of 180 words per minute. So imagine how many connections I am using in order for my brain to find each word and make sense times 180 in 1 minute. Okay, so the combination of these guys here, the axons, is only, and say, for to say something, a 1 with 65 zeros. That's how many connections we have in the brain. Okay, this is now a neural network in terms of AI. You see how interesting and similarities this on the bottom or in the bottom left are the input, and then they look for a neural network, and then they will give you an output or a result. This absolutely is improving the performance tenfold every day or every half an hour is improving the computers. This in a micro sense is a picture, but in a more detailed picture is like this. You have the input, you have a hidden processing, if you will, and then you have the output. Okay, artificial neural network is called ANNS, and they are a subset of machine learning. So this is how it works. It comes the input, it looks for the connection, it finds the connection, and it takes out the result. Okay. Now that we have a kind of a good understanding of what's AI, let's go where really, when originated the AI. believe it or not, what I was searching, and 300 BC was the first robot created. It was not born. It is believed, because it's a legend, that Zeus made Talos. And Talos is this robot that is in the right, and he was named the caretaker of Crete in order to prevent invaders to come. And it was a legend. I was not there. I don't know if it existed, but that was the first robot that it has been known. We jump until the 30s and 40s and 50s. And then the two fathers really of the AI, which is today, is Alan Turing and John McCarthy. They started with what they developed, or they call, the intelligent machinery. And this is the machine that they developed, which was a computational model in 36, and it was manipulating basically symbols to a tape. Very, very simple computer situation. You remember the movie Enigma? The actor was Benedict Cumberbatch, who was the British guy that played Turing to develop this machine, which is in the right, to decipher what the Enigma machine was doing. If you do not know about the Enigma machine, it was a machine that the Nazis developed in the Second World War in order to send messages coded or encrypted. And the situation was that every day the code was changed. They were not basically the letters that we know, etc., etc. So he developed this machine in order to decipher this guy. And there is a movie about it, which of course is the name of Enigma. Very, very interesting. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it to you. We go throughout history. In 56, it was born AI as an academic discipline, very, very important, by John McCarthy. In the same year, 56, we discovered also with Alan Newell and Herbert Simon that the AI was capable to provide birth of AI as a field and to develop or analyze or process theorems. I do not know if everybody is familiar with the most famous theorem of Pythagoras, which is the stated that the sum of the square length of the hypotenuse is equals to the sum of the square length of the catetus in a straight or straight triangle. That is the theorem of Pythagoras. And then in 56, it was developed with computers how to prove this kind of theorems. From 56 to 74, we as a humanity saw a big progress. It was developed Elisa, which was the first chat box. We're going to see what's a chat box. Sharky the robot, I don't know if you remember, there was a movie also about the Sharky the robot, and it was the first mobile intelligent robot. Very interestingly, as I was searching, from 74 to 90, because AI had a lot of criticism, it was not giving good results. It was what they call the winter, the first and second winter. Nothing was developed. It was not until the 90s in which machine learning and deep learning started to show up, which was the learning algorithm, which is a set of rules that we input to the computer. Then in 97, very interestingly, I saw that myself, the IBM Deep Blue computer defeated the world champion Gary Kasparov in chess. It was very, very interesting to see that. Then in 11, the computer IBM Watson defeated or won Jeopardy all timer. And then in 2016, the DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated the champion in Go. Go, as you know, is a Japanese game, very complex, and the computer defeated this guy. 17, it was a very interesting year because the architecture was transforming. It was when they started to think about the neural networks, which we already know what are they, and spurred a big time major advancement in language processing. 20 to present, the progress has been more than geometrically 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. ChatGPT was invented or developed, and we're going to see a little bit about ChatGPT in a little bit. And this is a very, very important turning point. This is the computer that defeated Garry Kasparov in 96. I found it. And let's talk about generative AI. As it name implies, it will generate context or content, images, music, or whatever other media. And that is based upon patterns and structures that are already in the data sets, okay? Content generation mimics human creations. It can be included, for instance, you want to write an article or a history or a story with realistic images, or even composing music with this kind of content generation. Another examples of generative AI is the LLM, which is, again, the GPT. I was using Gemini for this presentation. Perplexity is another application. For image, you have DALI. For music, you have Ampere Music. And also you have tools for code generation like Hip Hop and Copilot. These are just not even 10 applications that I have here. But again, there are thousands of applications to be our reach. Many are free. And this is a very interesting thing. I will make a parenthesis here. There are already free applications like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, etc., that you can utilize for your business. Don't think that they are just to play games or to say, write me my curriculum or my resume. You can use them for your business. Also, there are applications, meaning that you can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini and you can tweak it. You can modify here and there in order to apply to your business. And of course, there are other applications that can be customized or started from ground zero, okay? These are images that I created. And I asked ChatGPT and Google just to make a comparison to give me applications or programs to create images. And man, they show me more than 100 applications, many of them for free, many of them the 10 images for free and then $5 a month. But for $5 a month, you can create 800 images, something crazy. So very interesting things about these three pictures. Number one, these people never existed, never will exist, and they are just created by computer. This woman here in the middle, I created in purpose because it's impossible to climb to the Mount Everest with this kind of shoes, no equipment, no mask, no gloves, and be in the top of the mountain. It's just impossible. No. okay? But you can do this. You can do this with AI, with image generation. And this salmon was never in the sea. These tomatoes were never in the tree, and this rosemary was never harvested. This play doesn't exist either. So everything is really the imagination of the computer that is produced based upon the algorithm that you input to the computer. Very interesting to know. Another thing for your wealth of knowledge is that today you can input as an algorithm or instruction to the computer up to 1 million words. In other words, you input 1 million words, so the computer can give you a result. It will process that information and will give you a result. I don't know who is capable to give 1 million words to the computer, but it is the capacity. This is the chat box. Chatbot. It's a computer program designated to have interactive and automatic conversation. When the computer answers to you, that voice or that means is called an agent, okay? Very important distinction that we have to learn today is between GPT and ChatGPT, okay? ChatGPT is the application and GPT is the technology, okay? Imagine in other way, GPT is the engine and ChatGPT is the car that uses the engine to drive to a place or to a destination, okay? Very, very important distinction. Very important to learn or to know is the how to better or more efficient give the tips to the computer or the algorithm. Have to be super clear, few words as possible. We can do 1 million, I know, but in our level, so to speak, the fewer the better. Clear the better. Define parameters. Oops. I'm sorry. Define the parameters, which means no less than or no bigger than or bigger than, etc. That's the parameters, limitations, and you can even provide examples to the computer. Don't make the computer input be complex, okay? And if you want to break with punctuation. Dot, next paragraph, okay? Kinds of AI. There are basically 3 kinds of AI today. The narrow or weak, which is the one that we are using nowadays, we meaning all humanity, and that is obviously what we know. I put the most popular ones, Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, Alexa, Siri, Runway, Harvest, and for music, the Ampere, we talk about it. Limitations, they cannot generalize other tasks, but with a specific training or only one task. One, music is music. Tell me about my resume is your resume. It's not going to tell you about the colors of the mountain of Kilimanjaro, okay? This is the ones that we are using today, narrow or weak. So imagine what is in front of us, the strong. This is just hypothetical. It uses the different kinds of learning, etc. And the third one is artificial superintelligence that is way beyond in years to come, or maybe next year. These are the biggest companies that are today in the AI, and good to know, $2.5 trillion are going to invest in the next 12 to 16 months. And just Stargate is investing $500 billion in Texas. With that, let's dive into our commercial real estate. As we were commenting before, we can instruct the computer to make us predictive analysis and for market trends, okay? Predictive analytics will obviously will be based upon historical data, machine learning, and statistical algorithm to forecast the outcome. It will offer you a competitive edge and advantage with other competition. When you apply this, it will empower not only you, but developers or investors and managers to make better decisions with more confidence and less risk. Okay, so all the analytics that will take us realtors or us business people or investors or developers months to develop, again, the computer via instructions on an algorithm will give you a trend forecasting, which is going to give a model to analyze that historical information or transaction, is going to give you demographic trends, is going to give you a prediction of interest rates and local market conditions, obviously, because you are going to invest in certain neighborhood, certain region, certain city, or even nationwide. You can ask the computer, give me what is the best demographic trend for millennials, this kind of industry that are working in this particular field, and what is going to be the best neighborhood in which they're going to go, or I want to invest, or is going to be for construction. See, all of this you can do right now, and that is commercial real estate. You can anticipate expansions or contractions of the market. Very, very interesting in our field. Imagine the situation of 2008, 9 and 10, the increases of interest rates, now the tariffs, etc. All of these we can anticipate with the help of AI. And obviously, as far as the market research, we can anticipate or predict increases in rent, excuse me, the occupancy levels. It was very interesting when the COVID situation came, the occupancy levels, what happened to them? Well, so we can also input include in the algorithm. Remember, we have plenty of room to input all of these variables so the computer AI can give us a result, in this case, of demand, occupancy levels, rental rates, interest rates, whether it's multifamily, office, industrial, condos, townhomes in particular region, for particular market segment, for particular age group, for particular race, etc., etc., etc. So the applications are just infinite. Artificial intelligence can also be included, and Mercedes was commenting to us at the beginning of the webinar for leases, lease management, and tenant relationship. The tenant relationship is changing completely. It's going to be more personalized. I'm going to try to make a summary of this transparency. It will be more personalized. It's going to be preventive for instance, rent escalations, renewal options. It's going to give you the AI. What are the options for renewal? What are the termination clauses? If you are going to write a document, all of these elements are going to be already in the lease contract. Also, as prevention, very, very important when you are managing or leasing a commercial property, is exactly about repairs or replacements. These are going to be disruptions in your asset, therefore minimization of your income, therefore profits. This thing here is IoT, excuse me, IoT, which means Internet of Things, okay? You connect devices in your asset to that obviously connected to the computer wireless, wirelessly in order to monitor all your systems, all your systems, electricity, air conditioner, water usage, lighting, access control, traffic, and you can also start to develop trends of the tenants, whether it's in the morning, what to do for air conditioner in the evening, to turn it off at 12 midnight to 3 a.m., etc., etc. All that will be or is available today via AI, and there are applications that you can do that. Or, as I was commenting, you can tailor made your own application for your own particular use. We were talking a little bit about tenant engagements. For instance, the amenities. What kind of amenities, for instance, a senior likes versus a millennial versus a Gen Z? So, hey, input in Columbus, Ohio, or in New York. Believe me, it's going to be different in California. All of these variables can be input into AI in order to produce better results, better tenant engagement relations. Therefore, tenants are going to be happier, tenants are going to be more time in your place, more income, more profits. Sentiment analysis, okay, via surveys or feedback via tenant, and also communication to assess, to assess the satisfaction. And also, very important that we many times do not use is potential risks in the future. We have now to work in terms of prevention, okay? Is more proactive, and this AI is going to help us as a tool in commercial, in residential, even in our lives, to be preventive, not reactive, okay? Proactive, not reactive. And also risk management, okay? Everything that will ensure that the agreements are according to the legal and regulatory standards, the raise of rents in the case of St. Paul, which have rent control. If it doesn't have rent control, how many days to inform the tenant that it is going to be to vacate, etc., etc., etc. Okay. In the in the context of marketing and sales, as Adriana was saying, no, AI can help us to customize our listings. It can customize images, the writing, and that, a little going deeper, can be tailored for specific audiences and platforms. It's not the same to be marketing in Edina than in Bloomington, than in Apple Valley, than in North Minneapolis, than in Anoka, than in Dayton, than in Rochester or Duluth. So then, and the public or the audience or your future, whether it's clients or whether it's tenants or investors or developers. So the AI via NLP will analyze all the location, size, amenities, zoning, um, demographics, income, etc., to generate the description and be more successful, in this case, with investors or local tenants or developers. Dynamic processing or pricing models, it will apply to the machine learning to adjust price strategies dynamically, whether it is with inflation, with consumer sentiment, with level of income of the population that you are targeting, etc. These algorithms will evaluate the market conditions. It will also be able to make a comparison with competition and will give you the absorption trends. I do not know you. I have not asked you this question, but do you know what is the absorption rate of an asset in real estate? I am going to tell you. With an example, is easier. Imagine that there are 100, which is a 100%. Call it buildings, condos, warehouses, office buildings, whatever you want to call it. The asset name does not matter. It's 100, okay? In January 1st. In January 31st, because they built and they were also tear apart, there are 110. Okay, let me go back. Out of the 100 buildings that we mentioned, those buildings are empty, okay? There are 1,000 in the market, but we are going to focus in the ones that are empty. 100 buildings empty or assets. In January 31st, there are 110. And what happened if in February 15, there are only 100 again? Those 10 are the ones that were absorbed. So that is the rate of absorption. Initial inventory plus construction minus final inventory. That equals rate of absorption. So you can create an algorithm to give you the rate of absorption. That's very important for market trends or for price increases or for demand or for supply. Pricing recommendations obviously goes hand to hand of what I'm just saying. Chatbots and virtual assistants are also powered by AI, and these are revolutionizing the generation of in commercial real estate. Imagine to have your assistant 24/7 for free. Instead of hiring a $3 an hour of Philippines that is going to sleep here and didn't come there, etc., and make mistakes, this chatbot is going to be able to do it 24/7 with zero mistakes. And it's going to qualify your leads in real time and streamline the customer journey, which means it's going to take and dialogue with any and every customer or potential customer that touches your website. It's going to try to engage with the person that, again, touches your website. It's going to take it by the hand until sign in the dotted line, Mr. Smith. Excuse me. Instant engagement is basically what I was commenting to you, and the qualifications through the different questions that are going to ask the chatbot. Is going to be qualifying, selecting, disregarding, regarding, etc. The possible client is going to have a chat transitions that is going to be high value for you. Everybody has used these guys, and the future is unbelievable. It was asked to the CEO of OpenAI, what do you see the future? And this guy said, you know something? I do not know. If I tell you in 1920 that the atomic bomb was going to be invented, I would be lying. I didn't know. Or the electric car was going to be popular? No. So this is really something that I found, but it's uncertain because really the future in AI, nobody knows. We already are automating leases, we're automating processes, negotiations, custom terms, we're analyzing the zoning, traffic patterns, the highest best of use land. So all of these are already there. Maybe what I can say in the future is going to be something in the learning machine kind of thing, more advanced neural network. And finally, in conclusion, AI, as we talked in the last hour, is revolutionizing the industry. Is the speed of processing and give you the results are astonishing. We didn't imagine 5 years ago how powerful this thing was going to be. We can basically think of anything and it's going to be possible to input into the computer and the computer will spit something to you. So integrating AI in commercial real estate or talking broadly in any profession will reduce risk. It's going to enhance, in this case, tenant satisfaction. It's going to unlock new business models that we don't even think about exist. It's going to improve the physical and virtual real estate. And finally, those who embrace the AI today in any shape or form will have a competitive edge and advantage in tomorrow's market. Believe me, this is the future, guys. With that, I finish. It's 12:01. I'm sorry I extra limited myself for 1 minute, but I think that this was an interesting conversation. Thank you very much for your presence. And I am not an MIT PhD, but if you have any questions, I will try to answer to the best of my knowledge. Thank you very much again.
Thank you,
Thank you
Luis.
so much. Thank you so much, Luis,
Very
for
interesting. Thank you. And very well researched, Luis.
Thank you,
yeah.
Andrea.
So thank you, Reese, again. I know that we might be a little bit off time here, but it's a lot of information. I was talking to Luis, and he was saying, we could, have several different, webinars within this topic. So 1 hour is kind of small, not enough to crunch all this information. But anyways, thank you for having all this. Valuable information for everybody. And I didn't see any questions in the chat, but I do have a question, Luis, if I may. Um, I was looking at that we can get information about the trends, market trends, and all that analytics piece. And my question is, how reliable is the information that we get from any kind of artificial intelligence tool? Is it something that we can rely 100%, or is it more like social media that people put post things there, and right now you never know which one is true and which one it is. But I'm thinking that probably AI might be a little bit different. So my question is about the reliability of the information that is coming from any kind of AI tool.
Very interesting question. I don't have the magic wand to tell you this one is the best or this one is the worst. Don't go here, don't go there. But what I can tell you, Fabio, we run an experiment. What I did was exactly your question. Give me a trend of population in Minnesota for the next 10 years. What I asked ChatGPT, Perplexity, and DeepSeek, and I had different answers. So what I recommend is or either make a specific tailor-made application for your specific need, or rely on or 2 or 3 different sources and make a drawn conclusion of what is the worst, middle, or best scenario. For instance, in your question, in the trend, let's say, what is the trend of construction in Minnesota? One is going to say 1%, the other one say minus 1%, they're not going to be construction, and the other one is 3%. Well, you might say, well, between 0 and 1.5% is weighted average of the three predictions. That's what I would do, not to rely on only one source now, because again, this is for me a little bit new. And you are, I don't know if you are experimenting already in ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT kind of a inconsistent basis. It's improving every day.
Yeah.
The answers that I have received 1-2 months ago to the solutions and answers that I'm receiving today and alternatives that it gives me after the answer. It's interesting because it says, do you want it in Word? Do you want it in PDF? Do you want a presentation in PowerPoint? Would you like me to translate it? I said, interesting. I didn't think about it, you know? So yeah, it is evolving every day. And yes,
Yep.
Fabio, it's going to be more and more reliable every day.
Yep. All right. So thank you, Luis. I have Adriana that's got her hand up. So it's your turn.
Thank you. No, it's answering to you, Fabio. Remember that AI is always taking the information from all the internet. So it takes information from different websites. It takes information from different inputs. And even when it is capable of coming with conclusions, it is always taking information from different websites that we don't know how reliable those websites are. So it's always important to put your own mind, a critical mind on what you read. It's like reading different books. You are going to come with your critical thinking and come with your own conclusion. I think it's the same. I mean, it's a faster, it's just take AI as Google on steroids. It's like that because it just takes information from all the websites, all the internet, all the information that is already available online, and it's going to come with some type of conclusion of its own depending on the programming and the how the algorithms and the logic that is behind that technology. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be 100% true. So you have to have your own criteria and become with your own conclusions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then
Absolutely
Alex,
agree.
we do.
Mhm. Yes, I completely agree with Adriana. Yes, you have to come to your own conclusions, Fabio.
Yeah.
Hola chicos, I'm Alex. I'm based out of New Jersey. So this is Luis, very very informative workshop. Really appreciate that. I design, the reason why I sign up for this is because I design website for small businesses, especially for real estate brokers. So I thought this could be very very informative. So quick question, Luis. So I guess what do you know? Can you tell me why what are some of the barriers, what are some of the main barriers that are preventing some real estate brokers or agencies from using AI to the to the full potential? Is this something, do you think, because most brokers are not aware of how AI could help them, or is it because they think it might be expensive to use AI? Can you just provide some insight on that?
Sure. Thank you very much, Alex. First of all, to be able to participate, I am very happy that you are from New Jersey. So we are extending ourselves in nationwide. And coming to your question, I think that basically there are 2 or 3 things important. Number one is lack of knowledge. The small brokerage, I mean, I'm talking 100 realtors or less, because Keller Williams and the Big Blue and the Big Red, Century 21 are already using that. Even XP and Mercedes was saying, we use a lot in our office. But the 100 or less, first of all, is lack of knowledge. Second of all, is if they have a little knowledge, they're afraid of price. And I was searching about pricing, what in 2010 cost $5 million. Today, 15 years after, it costs $35,000. And the speed is 1 million times faster. So people are not aware of this kind of situation. It's like any other product, you know. When the first telephone came to the market, it was $2,000. My first computer cost me $1,500, and it was 64K. You know, today with $1,500, you buy terabytes of memory. You know, so I think it's the same explanation, Alex. Is lack of knowledge. People think they are very expensive, and thirdly, I think that people are kind of afraid to jump into the plane or boat. Oh no, it's too complicated. I do not know anything about it. I would like to learn more and then make a decision kind of situation. So it's an adoption phase, if you will, right now that we are experiencing. But again, no, more and more people are adopting AI every day. So this time, the timing, and for your industry that you produce websites is a very, very good time to be in because you can grow exponentially.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, everybody. I want to be aware of the time here, and I know that everybody needs to go back to what they do during a normal day of work. So thank you for joining. The Latino Chamber of Commerce is so happy that you were able to join today, and make sure that you spread the word. There is another version of this webinar in Spanish coming up next week. So please take a look at our calendar and invite anybody that were not able to make it today. This is a great topic. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Fabio. Thank you, Liz. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adriana.